What's up, modus operandi? So glad to have you in here tonight. I'm gonna get the what's up, Rational Wrong thing. You do a sound check for me, buddy.
Hey, how you going, mate?
Yeah, okay, good. You still sound Australian.
Funny that.
Okay, so we'll start the live stream and then I'll mute our mics. I think I'll mute our mics. Okay, guys, we're starting here after the countdown, 7.25 minutes. Gonna be a very good show tonight. If everybody who's in here can hit the like button and then start sharing this out on your social medias, push it out. We got a great panel of friends and smart people tonight. And we do have one Australian, but he is smart. So it's going to be a...
So really, good A does apply right now.
No,
and 10 a.m. in the morning there?
No, it's midday here.
Midday, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see here. Desktop, live stream. Okay, so if I mute...
Yo, GOP!
That would probably not be the best thing we could do, and we're sorry. That was great. They nailed it.
Soy boy Chloe is 110% organic, non-GMO, gender misogynistic immigration, identitarian.
And there's no need for anyone to think that is unacceptable. We're going to shut them down and work with whoever it is to shut them down, and they should be prosecuted. You cannot intimidate members of Congress.
I'm not gonna respond to that. I already used too many words. I was told by my handler, don't talk on this because I will shove my foot in my mouth. Just don't do that. Just move on. Just move on. It's dumb. How could you even think that just because I was in charge of policy with the Ukraine as vice president, and just because I actually told the government that if they didn't fire the prosecutor that was looking into the company that my son was involved in, and he was getting paid $50,000 a year, and he didn't know jack diddly dick about this job. How could you think for a minute that was inappropriate or that I did anything wrong? Even though I sat and I bragged about the fact I got this guy fired, and I told him I wasn't going to give him money unless they did what I said, how can you think that I did anything wrong? wrong? This is just such a dumb question. I can't believe we're entertaining.
And all these other social media platform people say they struggle with figuring out where the line is and how to, we promote hate speech, but we also want to promote free speech and discussion. It's very simple. It's very simple. All you got to do is follow the Constitution. Follow the Constitution. Follow the Bill of Rights. Follow the First Amendment.
Be elected president.
She says Senator Kamala Harris said that if she is elected president, she will give Congress 100 days to act on gun control. If they don't, she'll take matters into her own hands, she said during the CNN town hall. Wow, that doesn't sound like a dictatorial response, right? That doesn't sound like a very democratic position to have. Not farther away in water. Well, I'm pretty sure she came out against Trump and he said he was going to take executive action on the wall, right? So if you believe in freedom of speech and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, you are a bad. Side note, the Democrats months ago were saying there was no crisis at the border. Now read the headlines. There's a crisis at the border. Anyway, evil piece of crap. All right, let's move into the dehumanization stage, right? Somebody. It's like the dude, just totally covered up a campus assault or drop the end. I'm just jumping in. Early Sunday, a shooter opened fire in Dayton, Ohio, killing 9 people in the city's Oregon district, a popular downtown area. 2 freaking conservative tweets. So there's this sweet little article. It says campus police chief. Pretty interesting that we can compare these 2 different shootings because they happen so closely. 2 minutes and 38 seconds. So here we go, right? Which helped, as she's going to mention here, black and brown people. So we won't get into that either, but I'd like to just make that note that that's just hours before on Saturday, a shooter opened fire at an El Paso, Texas shopping center, killing at least. There's an issue of public corruption in New York State. And why is there an issue of public corruption in New York State? Well, that's right. So apparently, Snapchat has stepped on the social justice warriors' ding-dongs or peanuts or what have you. Apparently, Snapchat's new gender swap filter is causing problems for the social justice warriors. Snapchat's bothering the warriors. An anarchist, right? He's this anarchist, socialist. How social justice has become a religion. It's quite literally a religion. And I know religion. I was raised in the church. I went to Bible college. My degrees in theology. I know religion. But the other one who just killed a couple more people is also out there. He was a white supremacist, right? He's in custody.
That's what we've been doing in magazines.
Yeah, I mean, Wesley Hunt.
Guys, one second. Racial and transgenderism and the similarities I see between.
Save it. It's all good stuff. Oh yes, SJG perspective, and we are back tonight for another round of kind of a new series I'm doing. I don't know if it's a series, but I'm going to do at least a stream every Thursday night with some guests and some people that I find interesting. One of the new faces up on the board there is Timothy Shea. You can say, is it Shea or she?
It's Shea.
Shea.
You're 0 for 2.
I was 0 for 2. Okay, so it's Timothy Shea.
Shea Stadium.
Okay. And then we have Rational Wrong Think. Rational, why don't you say hello to everybody?
Hey, g'day guys, how's it going?
As we know, he's from Australia, and normally we wouldn't trust Australians here. But since he's fairly smart, we're going to let him stay around. And then we
You'd
have
never tell from listening to me talk, would you?
No. I wish you could throw some. I wish you could throw some shrimp on the barbie for me. But
okay, Cletus.
And then we got Dan. Dan's up on the screen there. Dan Golvach. Had him on last week, and was a really fun show. So you can say hello, Dan.
How's it going, guys? Good day.
Good day. Yeah, right.
Yeah, man, you guys do bloody awful Aussie accents, I have to say.
Oh man, it's funny. So tonight, you guys, we're gonna cover a lot of interesting topics. Kind of we're gonna talk about the governor tyranny that's going on, how we're mask. I did a little play on word masking the truth, fit bidding and whoop fun wear, and where the trail is headed and how to stop it. So we're gonna get into some fun topics and I'm sure rabbit trail down a whole bunch of little things, little ways like that. But I figured before we did that, right, and why some more people get in here, I thought, and I didn't even tell the guys. By the way, guys, we're gonna do a little of this action, little meme time with Steven action going on. Now, can everybody hear me fine out there in the world? Maybe I should have done that too. Check that. Is my mic loud enough? Can I get a 5x5 out there?
I'm hearing you good, and I'm hearing you impaired.
Okay.
Too much rock and roll.
You're hearing a parody?
Oh, too much rock and roll, man. It's peak
Oh,
time.
you're hearing impaired. Oh, I thought you said a parody.
bet.
We haven't got to the parodies yet. But okay, guys. So what we do on Meme Time with Stevens, I just roll through some memes, and I didn't pick up a ton of great memes tonight, but I did pick up a couple that I thought we'd roll through and we'd laugh at. And if they spur some conversation that's more on the serious side, all the better. But hey, guys, you know what? This first meme up here, the nice part about this is since the COVID fear on the people who are waking up is wearing off, so they needed to figure something else out, which was the murder hornets, right? The 3-inch long hornets that decapitate the honeybees' heads, and they kill 50 people a year, which is almost as much as coronavirus has killed at this point. But yeah, so this is a funny little meme. It says, the murder hornet deaths if we do nothing, right? And if you stay inside for 4 months.
Yeah, I had some good fun this week with murder hornet memes.
Yeah, it's a good time, man. It's a good.
More government hokey pokey coming our way.
Yeah.
Go outside, put your right foot in, your left foot out, whatever.
It is, man. It said, this one says, it's okay to be white, it's okay to be black, it's okay to be straight, it's okay to be gay, it's okay to be you. But it's never okay to stop at a yellow light when we both could have made it, you bitch. Doesn't have anything to do with politics.
Right there.
It's the truth. It's funny because it's true. So this is kind of funny. I'll give Tim, you can read this one.
Yeah, we already do this. No need to enforce.
Which is
true. Will tell you never, unless you're a ball game, you always leave at least one urinal in between.
You do. You got issues. If we got a whole bunch of empty stalls and you come and stand right next to me, we got a problem. We got a problem. This one's pretty funny. Hey Dan, why don't you can you read that one, Dan?
Get it, Patrick. We flatten the curve. That's
okay. So
small business is destroyed. Musicians put out of work. I have to say. I mean, I've been back to the gigs lately, so it's interesting. But with social distancing gigs,
Okay, Dan, I got to give you some on Meme Time with Steven. You got to read this with a little more gusto. You're reading it to yourself. Read it out like, we did it, Patrick. We flattened the curve. But suicide and small business is destroyed. Sorry, I'm just busting your mutts a little bit.
We did it, Patrick.
There we go. That's what I like.
We flattened the curve.
There we go.
Suicide. Economic collapse. Rights infringed. Small business destroyed.
Yes.
Domestic violence. Mass unemployment. Substance abuse.
Yes. That's what I like to see right there. This one isn't so much funny, but it's true. It says, you're not making us live in fear, but you are starting to really piss us off. Which is what is happening. I am on the pissed off curve now, man. You might have flattened the other curves, but now I know so many other people out there are getting pissed off, and that is what we need to get. We need to get pissed off.
Did you see the video from Officer Anderson? Went viral yesterday.
Oh, I didn't watch that one yet.
Oh, it's fantastic. He's sitting there in a SWAT, the tactical vest, and the shotguns are in the back behind him in the seat. He's in the seat of his squad car, and it looked like a truck actually. and he was speaking to his fellow officers, and he said, "You took an oath to the Constitution. You do not have the authority to infringe citizens' rights. I don't care if you're given an order to infringe citizens' rights. You do not have the authority to infringe citizens' rights, but you do have the duty to disobey that illegal order. And I don't care if your chain of command all the way to the top is telling you to infringe citizens' rights. It's your duty not to. You took an oath to the Constitution." And he was fantastic. And the most telling part was he said, "I have been in combat in Iraq, and I see how things go sideways fast. I hope to never see it again.
Yeah.
Control is an illusion. You think that because you have a badge and a gun, you're in control. Let me tell you, you can lose that control in 10 minutes and in 10 seconds if there is a crowd of citizens that do not want to be controlled. There is no way possible you can control them. You will completely lose all authority. So don't even think about trying to enforce these orders, because all you're going to do is end up losing all authority for the badge."
Yeah.
It was a
Dallas
great
judge just found that
from
out.
one cop to his fellow cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Rap,
our judge here in Dallas he got read his rights
Yeah.
today. He got totally stuffed.
hey, Rational, can you read
Yeah,
that
mate.
one, my friend?
Can remember the day it happened?
Okay, so hang on. We got to set this up. This is Christine Blasey Ford and Tara Reid.
Tara
Okay,
Reid.
the checkbox. So we're gonna check them off as we go. So you read it, and I'll scroll it down as we go.
Okay, can remember the day it happened? Blasey Ford, no. Tara Reid, yes. Can remember where it happened? Blasey Ford, no. Tara Reid, yes. Oh no, I can't read the rest of it, mate. Sorry.
Okay. Told friends about who can remember being told. Tara, yes. No. Blasey, liar, no. Didn't need to scrub all her social media posts. Tara, yes. The other, no. The alleged perpetrator was actually of an age of criminal responsibility. Tara, yes. Blasey Ford, no. Articles by CNN. 700 articles by CNN on Blasey Ford and 2 on Tara Reid. So,
Yeah, I call her Crazy Blasey Ford.
exactly. This one's kind of fun. We'll do a couple more and then we'll get into this. It says, "Excuse me, sir. Have you accepted Bill Gates as your Lord and Savior?" It's so true. It's funny. It's kind of funny because, it's
Well, you know what's scary about that is it's showing door-to-door canvassing, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing, not just with technology, not just with tracking devices, but they are actually talking about hiring people. They're talking about hiring unemployed people to work as contact tracers.
Yeah.
They're trying to establish a Stasi network. In Florida, in Orlando, they've set up a hotline so citizens can call in and report businesses that aren't requiring social distancing for their customers. They're literally trying to create a Stasi information network.
No, that is what's happening. And what they're also doing with the contact tracing is that they are setting it up, saying we need all these people to do this, right? And they're gonna come out then and say, we can't do this. I mean, they've already said it, but they're gonna come out and say this can't be done by good old-fashioned analog methods. We just can't do it. We're gonna start using Fitbits and Funwear and all this other stuff to track you. We got to do it, and they're already rolling that.
Funwear, making fascism fun since 1984.
So hey, we're gonna do one more here, and I'm gonna give this one to Tim because he kind of was mentioning this the other day, and we streamed. So
Yeah, the Minnesota COVID-19 recovery. Governor Walz, you got to move those goalposts. I'm telling you, they've moved the goalposts so much that those things must be on wheels.
Yeah, yep, and that's the absolute truth, people. Well, this has been another quick little fun time with. Appreciate all your guys' help on that one. I didn't really have. Normally we have a lot more of those, and we have some really, really funny ones. Those weren't, necessarily as funny, but they're still good. Background music. Where'd you go? Segment music. Okay, I roll that up a little bit. Okay, guys. So, as I was kind of preparing tonight and getting ready to go through some of this stuff, it's funny because Tim, I think you were the one who told me we should touch on some of the governor stuff. So, what I did is I put together, where am I at on here? So, I put together a couple shots here with, this whole governor. Yeah, no, this is by no means, Let me make this big present style. Probably should have had that ready. I apologize. This is by no means the end-all be-all, if you will, of the governor stuff, of how many governors. My ADHD kicks my ass. I cannot do two things at once. It's terrible. I'm going to start over. That was a flub. I'm glad we only have 20 people watching. That was a flub. So tonight we're going to talk about the governor tyranny. We're going to talk about masking the truth. We're going to talk about Fitbitting, Whoop, and Funwear, and then also where the train is headed and how to stop it. So jumping into the governor thing, I named them COVID-19 84 teammates. We're going to answer the question, who are the real lawbreakers tonight? Who are the real lawbreakers? Now, Tim, getting back to you, this is kind of, you mentioned a few of these governors. We could mention literally probably 20 or 30 more governors nationwide are doing.
Yeah, you didn't show DeWine in Ohio who says we can open school, but only 2 days a week because we have to send half of the children. Then we've got to thoroughly disinfect the entire school, and then we can send the other half of the children. What are parents supposed to do?
Right.
To work during the time when their children are in school. This
Right.
is insane. And he says he's a Republican. Forget it. But
Yeah.
these four are the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Assuming that, Andrew Cuomo has already retired the crown, so we don't even have to discuss that.
Yeah, he gets the GOAT. He's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time. But we'll start off here. We'll talk about Janet Mills, governor of Maine. So Janet Mills came out. Now she's done a lot of stuff, but the thing I wanted to talk about tonight was that she came out and she told a pub owner that he can't open his pub, and after they pushed the goalpost, we talk about moving. After they moved the goalpost on him, he said, "Okay, we're opening up May 1st." Then she pushed it back to God knows when, May 15th or June 1st or whatever it was. He said, "No, I'm coming out. I'm doing it." So the pub owner loses his business license for not following unconstitutional power trip of Janet. Do what I say, damn it, Mills. And what happened with this whole thing was she was willing to give it back to him, though. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights of it. We won't read the whole story. She was willing to give it back to him if he was willing to kiss the ring and basically say, okay, you can open up, but you can have X amount of people in there at a time. They have to sit X far away. You have to do X, Y, and Z. And, I was talking to my wife about this earlier today. What's going on with this is she's like, well, why are they kind of letting people do it at all? And I'm like, they're pulling the rubber band and they're getting it just tight enough before it snaps. And then they're releasing a little bit of tension to make it look like you're winning and they're giving in, but you're still giving in to their rules. You're not giving.
That's exactly it. And it's called the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Permissions.
Right. All right. Well, this Savage, and Savage is great for his last name, this Rick Savage. Rick Savage came back and said, they don't understand. They think they can take their time and figure things out. Businesses aren't going to last. So, and he is wrong. But here's one thing I'd like to say on that. He's wrong because they do understand. These people pulling these strings do understand. And maybe it's above Janet. Maybe she's really so brainwashed that she literally thinks that what she's doing is for the good of the people and whatnot. I don't want to give her that much credibility, but the people above her that are actually sending down, and we're talking way up the pyramid that we're going to get later, that are sending down the orders of doing this, they know exactly what they're doing to people, and it's all by design.
Look, Steve, none of this is organic. There is nothing grassroots about it. It is all astroturf. It is all scripted. They've had contact tracing plans literally written. They've got the plan book written out years ago. The technology has been in development and in operation years ago. They're talking about using Thomson Reuters Clear database. Well, that's a law enforcement database that they're talking about using. And they're talking about using it on law-abiding citizens that are not suspected of committing any crime.
Right.
Okay. All of this has been scripted out. They've just been waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. What is Dan or Rational? Do you guys have something to say? Do you guys want to jump in? I know I switched the look there.
I'd say something there. I think we'd have a reasonable expectation that our governments would formulate a plan for dealing with the pandemic when we know the pandemics are inevitable. Right. So I don't have a huge problem. I don't necessarily see that we have to put that in the realm of the conspiracy, that this contact tracing and all of that kind of stuff is something that is available to be rolled out, because governments, they will, don't get me wrong, this is being used, this is a scam that's being run now, in my opinion, but I don't think that we can only rely on evidence like that, the fact that they already had these plans in place for a pandemic, because we know pandemics are inevitable. They happen quite regularly. So you would kind of hope that in a globalized age, you would have those kind of plans in place. The problem that I have with this stuff is this is not a pandemic that we're going through now that's any more severe than a flu. Like when this whole thing started, when this COVID-19 started, we were told that we needed to flatten the curve because babies would get sick, children would get sick, healthy adults would get sick. Well, babies aren't getting sick, children aren't getting sick, the healthy aren't getting sick. It's only people that are vulnerable that are getting sick. So the curve is flattened by the fact that a lot of people who we thought, according to the modeling, were going to get sick aren't. But nonetheless, these things are being done. That's where I have the problem.
Well, and you're absolutely correct. And I didn't mean to imply that there's something nefarious about them planning for a pandemic. I'm not talking about those plans. I'm talking about instituting the contact tracing technology and all the totalitarian, authoritarian moves that they have made. As I've said from the very start in January, this reaction to this particular virus is insane. It's complete. There's a complete disconnect between reality and what they're trying to push on people. And as for people that are otherwise sick, they tried, this poor woman that worked for People magazine here in the US just died of it. Apparently she was a really nice young woman. She was very popular, very giving person, very generous, very talented at People magazine. That's all well and good. She was also over 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. Okay. If this virus didn't kill her, another respiratory virus would have. It is not healthy for a 29-year-old woman to be over 300 pounds.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like with people that are sort of
crazy.
With people that are sort of in that 20 to 50 age range. The thing that's going to kill you is if you have got some sort of a pre-existing lung condition or a heart condition, you're obese, or you've made an enemy of the Clintons by writing something factual about them. That's it.
Right.
Otherwise, you're pretty safe.
Hey, Dan, what you were going to say something, Dan. Jump in.
I'm perplexed at why I would say unintended consequences. Actually, I think they are intended, like you're alluding to. But why is there not a discussion about what the left hails the UN as such a great organization? Well, the UN is saying that not the COVID virus, but the effects of the economic shutdown could lead to upwards of 265 million starvation deaths. And I'm thinking, to me, then the number that they're projecting with the control of virus is notable compared to what they're projecting with because the kerplunk stick is energy and fuel, and we're talking about supply lines being degraded and not being able to get food to the market. But in the third world, that really translates into things that are a lot worse than what we're going to see actually maybe right here. And I don't know. It seems to me that there hasn't been a lot of attention by the press or even by the politicians on this. And that's something I see. I like all the guys that are roughnecks here in Texas. They're telling me, we're all closed down. All the drilling companies, small independent drilling companies, are closed down because there's no place to put the oil because there's no oil demand for oil right now. Therefore, all the our reserves are full. Where we storage is full. But what happens when demand goes back up is now you've got shortage problems because you don't have all these independent producers. They've all been run out of business.
Yeah. And
now you don't have as much oil production, and you've got problems. You're like it or not. I mean, oil and the energy sector are, like I said, they're the kerplunk stick for the rest of the economy. Everything runs our ability to get food, our ability to do anything.
Right.
And they seem to be just focused on these numbers that are, to me, just dwarfed by what even a leftist UN is saying. Hey, this can kill hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
Well, you're entirely right, Dan. And with regard to the meat shortage coming, let's not forget who owns Smithfield and Hormel Meats? The Chi-Coms, literally the Chi-Coms. And who owns Tyson Chicken? Well, the guy that tried to put out all the other conservative chicken producers,
Right.
so now all of a sudden Tyson is saying there's going to be a shortage of chicken on the market. Is that a threat, Tyson?
They're invested with Bill Gates and all this lab-grown meat and stuff that doesn't sound too tasty to me.
Right.
I just can't.
I'm a biologist by training. My undergraduate and graduate work was in biology. I wouldn't eat anything that came out of a lab.
Well, you know what? This is exactly what they want. They want this global power cult that we're going to even talk about more later. They don't want independence. Our independence. And now they're funny. They're saying we can't celebrate July 4th, Independence Day in most places. And I'm hoping everyone gets out there and gives them the middle finger and says, this Independence Day will mean more to me than any of the other ones that I've actually gone through, because we're taking our independence back and we're not giving it, because the global power cult, right, that we will be talking about later, what they want is total obedience, and they want us dependent upon them. I want to play this video. It's about 50 seconds, so it's about a minute long, and listen to the news. Hang on a second. Pause that. I gotta turn it on again. Second here. So let's listen to these news guys when they open up with this, right? Listen to how they spin this, and this is what's going on in every community news, local news, nationwide, to the biggest, media, mainstream media nationwide, CNN, MSNBC, Foxes, all of them. They're all talking the same exact talking points. It's programming. You guys have seen those collages where they have all the different news agents saying word for word the same thing on their monologues, right? This is exactly
it's a threat to our democracy. Remember that one?
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. So listen to what this turd has to say.
Because the number of COVID-19 cases differs so wildly from county to county, the governor's plan to reopen businesses gradually on a statewide basis is coming up against a lot of criticism.
Especially those who rely so heavily on tourists. One such business, a restaurant, opened a full month before it is supposed to, and it drew a crowd.
Before it is supposed to. Supposed to from who?
News at our main's Hannah Deneen reports from Bethel.
We just defied the governor's order and we opened up.
Owner Rick Savage has opened the doors of Sunday River Brewing Company.
We were told May 1st and we got ready for that. And last week, right before, the beginning of the week, she changed it and we just said we can't do it. People need to be opened up.
Restaurants are part of the second wave of the governor's plan to slowly reopen the state, which
means
this restaurant should not be open until June 1st. In spite of that order, these people, most of them not wearing face masks, came from across the state and beyond to express their support.
You can't keep people cooped up. This is America. We need to be free.
What is there to be afraid of? I don't fear the flu. I don't want to get it. I don't want to get this. But no, we've had it. Enough is enough.
It's unclear how or if law enforcement will react to the defiance of the governor's orders. As for Savage, he says he's prepared for fallout.
We feel she's going to arrest me today for violating the order. And,
this guy's a stud.
And frankly, we don't care.
In Bethel, Hannah Deneen, News Center, Maine.
That's exactly what I've been calling for the past month. Every business, every state, open, no restrictions. They cannot take everybody's business license.
Yeah. Well, we have one hair studio open in Texas now. Shea Luther.
Yeah, she got out today.
Yeah. So that was we'll take it as a victory. I mean, she raised over $500,000 on her GoFundMe, and there were plenty of comments, and they were mostly $10 and $20 donations. That was me. I depend on restaurants and bars for a living, so I'm one of those people. So I'm kind of, I'm kind of in a crunch right now. But anyways, it was. I think that's what this guy's doing and what she did is an effective method, maybe, of trying to stand up to this. It was just basically saying, no, this is not constitutional. This is not lawful. This is you're violating our unalienable rights that aren't given to us by you in the first place. And then we challenge it, and there's enough pressure. I think it's going to vary from state to state. Here in Texas, there was, Abbott realized my base is pissed off, so he had to let her go, and he did, and he's starting to open things up. But it should have never.
Governor saying, okay, churches, you can open, but you can't have more than 10 people or 10% of the occupancy in your church, and dictating Like the entire purpose of the First Amendment is not to dictate to churches.
Right.
The whole point of the First Amendment wasn't to keep religion out of the government. It was to keep government out of religion. Okay. I saw a great meme though. Since it's okay to be at Home Depot, church this Sunday is going to be 10 a.m. and plumbing. Bring your Bibles.
Well, the old book says, forsake not the assembly of yourselves, you know. So,
There you go.
you know, of
Yeah.
course, we don't go by the old book anymore. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if that beep's coming through to everybody, and I don't know how to shut my notifications off. But anyways, manage notifications.
You got a bell up on the top of your Discord, mate. You just hit that. That turns it off.
Oh, is my Discord open? That's right. My Discord's open.
Yeah, that's where that noise is coming from.
Okay.
So just on the hairdresser thing, just the hypocrisy of these clowns. Like, who's that woman, the governor, that looks way too much like Beetlejuice for her own good, who said that you can't go and get a haircut and then went and got a haircut and justified it by saying that she has to be in front of the cameras all day. Who was that?
It's Mayor Lightfoot in Chicago.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
She does look like Beetlejuice, but she looks exactly like a character from The Simpsons. I did a side-by-side meme. There's a picture of her in a gray suit and him in a gray suit. I mean, she looks exactly like Mr. Burns' henchman.
All right, let's get to this guy here. We've covered some of this stuff, so we'll go a little quicker through this because I want to get to a little bit of. But this one, you know, Governor Newsom, obviously closes everything like everyone else does, right? Yeah, because that's what a good little. Doesn't he look like a plastic Ken doll? He looks the classic politician, slimy like just this. Oh, he bugs the shit out of me when I look at him. It says tells people they're not allowed on the beaches. The beaches of all places. You can go to Walmart, but you can't go out in the sun, out on the where you can actually get your body disinfected, out in the salt water, out in this, you know, area that's to get these minerals and microbes and things that are good for your body. Can't have that. But you can go over and you can stand in a line with other Walmarteers, right? That's fine. But no, you can't go to the beach. What a
Well,
You can storm the beaches when you've got German artillery lined up to attack you, but you can't go to the beach if you might catch a cold.
Right.
Yeah, and this is the level of micromanaging. In Hawaii, you can walk to and from the water, but you can't sit your peach on the beach.
Yeah.
Somehow sitting on the sand is going to spread the virus. They're acting like, I had a guy say to me, he screamed in my face, "This is literally aerosolized AIDS." I'm like, yeah, it's literally not.
It's literally not, but because they said this has AIDS markers in it, do you think that just happened naturally if we want to go that route? If you really think it's aerolized AIDS, then don't you think that would have had to been man-made too? Do you think that just happened in nature? But it's literally not. But
well, I found an article, just before you go on, I found an article from 2005. I was looking for some information for drone tech. And in 2005, the Wuhan lab was working on that SARS-2 virus, the one that's out there now, and similar viruses. And they were doing things like cloning and manipulating. That was happening in 2005 in Wuhan. And this particular virus, that comes from a bat, the horseshoe bat that lives in a cave in Kunming province, which is about, I think it's 1,550 k's away.
Yeah.
So the chances that this thing is naturally occurring are hovering very, very close to zero.
Yeah.
The chance that it came from Wuhan lab and it had been manipulated in some way is extraordinarily high.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, either the Wuhan lab or the North Carolina lab.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is that. I have certainly heard that as well. I do suspect that this is Chinese, not American, though.
Well, no, here's the thing. Okay, and again, I'm a biologist by training, so I understand how all this stuff works, right? This virus is very similar to the SARS-CoV, which was the SARS outbreak in 2003. That's why they're posting this TV show from July of 2003 talking about using chloroquine and et cetera. That was SARS-CoV. The real, people shouldn't be freaked out that a TV show predicted this in 2003 because that's not what happened. They were talking about the SARS outbreak in 2003. People should be ticked off though is because they knew in 2003 that chloroquine worked, which is very similar to hydroxychloroquine. And FDA actually published an in vitro study in 2005 that reinforced that. So for Fauci to come out now and say it's reckless for the president to advise using hydroxychloroquine I mean, not only is that anti-science, but that is a criminal misrepresentation. But I think what happened is, they just like they prepare for pandemics, and they prepare these plans, readiness plans, which is all fine. They also do research on viri to see, okay, what makes this virus more contagious than that virus? What makes this virus more lethal than that virus? And they study these viri. And I think they were studying SARS-CoV, the original SARS coronavirus. And I think that what happened is that it mutated in the lab, or they were tweaking it in the lab, and then it got loose. Now, did it get loose accidentally? Did it get loose intentionally? That I don't know. I would tend to think more intentional than non-intentional. But this wasn't a genetically manipulated virus that was released intentionally to be used as a bioweapon. It wasn't that nefarious. This was done, but it was a virus that they were working on in the lab that got loose.
Yeah.
And the North Carolina lab and the Wuhan lab and Fauci are all tied together in this triangle of evil.
See, and I don't know. I might. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dan. You can go next, but I was gonna say I kind of feel like, I don't know, the origin. I think I don't think it just accidentally escaped. I think this was really. I think there's too many. Yeah. I think somebody let this go. We just don't know exactly. Dan, go ahead.
I was gonna say I personally have had did 2 years on Plaquenil. That's the generic, or is it the name brand? I've been treated for a condition called Sjogren's syndrome. It's an inflammatory it's an autoimmune disorder. And, I don't understand why they would be that upset about even trying it, because it's a relatively benign medication. The only thing that they were ever worried about with me was, they would test you every 6 months. They would test your eyes. They were worried because there was a very small percentage of people that were on it that would start developing glaucoma and that sort of thing. But I don't think it's really that dangerous of a drug to begin with. And I don't understand why these governors and certain entities were so upset about using it or trying it. I mean, why not?
It's all politics. It's not science. Okay.
Right.
Chloroquine has been on the essential medicines list for over 70 years. The essential medicines list is a list of medicines that must be available in every single country because they're essential. In the side effects you mentioned, Dan, they're only worried about those with people that are on it long-term for 2 years. They're talking about a 10-day course of treatment here. Right. There can be no possible side effects over 10 days.
No, not at all. And I can attest to that. I mean, I didn't have any side effects to speak of from it. And I was on it for, like I said, 2 years.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, that they've been talking about this remdesivir. I've heard Dr. Fauci talking about it. I'm not a fan of that guy. And that seems to be a very high cost way of doing not much other than just help with recovery time. Whereas hydroxychloroquine has been shown by a French study to actually be successful in curing the virus. So this is there's a scam being run here.
With zinc, it helps get zinc into the system, into the cells that are infected with the virus, and it actually kills the virus in the cells by bringing zinc in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And by the way, it's $10 for a 10-day treatment, whereas the remdesivir is $10,000 for a 10-day.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah. So you follow the money, don't you? You always follow the money.
Yeah, it wasn't expensive.
Guess who's got a piece of the remdesivir action? RW.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Who's got a
Fauci.
piece of the RW action? Fauci.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fauci, as I like to call him.
Fauci. I like that.
Because under the Bayh-Dole Act provisions, they can make up to $150,000 in royalties per patent that they hold, and he holds 7 patents on vaccines. So the head of the vaccine organization at NIH is making over $1 million off of vaccines. That can't be permitted to continue.
Okay, guys, real quick.
Conflict of interest. That should not be allowed.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to make a sound sample on the fly here. Don't say anything for a second, guys. Hang on a second. Fauci. Okay, so that's going to be our go-to later. Okay, that'll be our go-to later if his name comes up. Okay. So, but getting back to this, and I want to get to, we're going to kind of blast through some of these because I know Dan's got to leave in a little bit here, and I want to get through a little more. So basically, what Newsom did. So we talk about what Janet Mills did. She basically tries to take the license of the guy, and we know all the other governors, all the other shit they're doing. You have Newsom that tells the people they can't go to the beach, and then everybody protests, right, and pushes back. And 3 days later, he changes his mind and said, "Okay, you can go to the beach again with stipulations that you stay X amount of feet apart from one another and whatnot." So here's where I was thinking this is a very prime example of what people did partially correct. They were starting to get it, but we need to take it further. We need to tell our friends, our family, our loved ones, everyone that will listen. We need to take it farther. They said, no, we're not going to take it. We're not having this. We're not going to do what as free people we want to do. We're going to do what we want to do as free people. But then they kind of bent over, and when he gave them a little bit of bread, when he gave them released a little bit of tension off of that rubber band of tension, they gave into it. They should have continued to push back and said, no, we're going to go and we're going to do what we do, and we're not listening to your bullshit anymore. But I think a lot of that also happens because people are still under this assessment or under this idea that, people are really getting hurt and killed by this bad thing, and so part of them are wanting to be, I guess, safe, right? Because they're still scared about it somewhat. But we have another one, Charlie Baker, governor of Massachusetts. He's told everyone else has issued, just like everyone else has issued the mandatory stay-at-homes, right? People have said, no, we want the golf courses reopened. Now think about this for a second. Golfing is actually the sport of social distancing. When you are playing golf, you're not close to one another. You're
no, especially when I play.
Right, exactly.
I'm in the bushes.
So, but he said, nope, you can't have it. We're not doing it. So what did do? People came out and they protest. Social media, like we all know, they've shut it down. They pulled the Event 201 card, and they have shut down anybody who is spreading disinformation or misinformation, right? And they've shut down all these gathering and these groups of people to come to the town square, the electronic digital town square, to meet together and share ideas, to plan, to organize, to come together, and they've shut it down, right? But here's the thing. These people pushed back on it, and I didn't have it up in here. They actually pushed back on it, and I think they got the golf courses open. It's kind of the same thing that happened.
Yeah, but the problem is, again, it's only, you only get 1.5% of your freedom.
Yeah.
The cup holes have to be elevated so that retrieving a golf ball from a cup is not permitted. You have to stay in your car.
Wait a minute. How do you get a ball, and if it's above the green, how do you get the ball in the hole?
Because the flag stick, it's got to be elevated so that you go to the flag stick, and if it lands, in the hole, like it'll be down 1/4 of an inch, right? The bottom of the cup. Will be
my God!
And so you can go over and you can just touch your ball. You're not going to be touching the cup.
Oh, Jesus!
And you can't touch the flag stick.
Oh,
yes.
You have to wash your hands after you touch your balls, though, guys.
They have hand sanitizer on the flag. That little hand holder, hand sanitizer on the flag.
They're disinfecting subway cars in New York City with ultraviolet lights. Flag sticks are in the sunshine. All of this is anti-science. It's absurd. It's all just authoritarianism.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little bit of freedom. How's that? Will you accept a little bit of freedom? People have to say, no, pound sand, get out of my life. I'm playing golf.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say, if you guys had the love for your Second Amendment, the free assembly, and that's a Second Amendment, isn't it?
No, that's the Second Amendment's
First
guns.
Amendment's free assembly.
Oh, Second Amendment's guns. Sorry.
Guns,
Anyway, your Constitution, broadly speaking, if the people in the US had the love for your Constitution that I've got, this would have ended by now. You guys have got the best Constitution in the world, and you're letting it get trampled.
I think
it's terrible to watch
tonight that are pissed off, RW, because we're all been out there saying this is absurd, knock it off, and too many people are complying. The biggest takeaway from this entire fiasco
Don't fucking comply
is how many of my fellow citizens are willing to be sheep.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, and like you just said on this, they didn't go far enough. We need to shout louder. We need to you collectively rise up against this tyranny. Otherwise, it gets far, far worse. Dan, you were going to say something.
Well, I've had the experience last weekend I worked 3 gigs, and they were just, the restaurants, they opened up, but they have some of these restrictions. You can only have a quarter full, and then you can only stay 90 minutes. You can only have 6 per table. But I started noticing that there was a lot of just disregard. Because the cops aren't really enforcing it. That's here. I'm not saying that that's all over the country, but that's here. So there's just kind of like an attitude. Well, we're not going to go protest at the Capitol. We're just not going to do this shit. We're just going to do what we damn well please. And the cops are looking at this and they're going, I'm not going to sit there and enforce face masks and dress codes and this and that and the other. I think that's what we need to collectively, people are shaking hands and hugging, all that stuff.
But you also, if you're accosted by a police officer, you need to remind them that enforcing an illegal order is a criminal act under 18 U.S.C. 242,
right.
And they can be liable for a fine and imprisonment if they enforce an illegal order.
Yeah. That's right. And I think I think that there was a big test with this lady that, Shelley Luther, that kept her hair salon open. And, this judge, and in Texas, it's really been the county judges that have been tyrants. And, we have one here in Houston's the 3rd largest county in the United States. And we have Lena Hidalgo, and Abbott had to send her to her room, politically too, because she was going to enforce masks. Everybody has to wear a mask for a month. And everybody is like, no, we don't. And you're not going to enforce a dress code for us. And so I think that's what we have to do collectively. We just have to say no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Houston is the most gerrymandered city in the country, and you've got 3 of the stupidest representatives in the House there. You've got Sheila Racist Lee, you've got Al Green, and you've got Fidel Castro's little brother there.
I love all the names we come up, and they roll off the tongue. They just, for the last year, I've heard all the different names when you have somebody like, one of these pundits come up. It's pretty classic. I love it. Okay, so here, listen, I want to jump to this, our last governor that I wanted to cover, who's my personal favorite right now. His name is David Wyage.
Ige. They say Ige.
Yige? Okay, why is there a period though? Yige? Like it's weird.
No, Y is his middle name.
Oh, Ige. Okay. Well, that makes sense, I guess. So the story here on this is newlyweds get arrested. So check this out. Nothing says I do like a night in the clink. Let me open up this little article real quick and read it for you. It's a brief one. So right there's the lucky couple who decided to go to Hawaii to celebrate and these are their mugshots. Can you believe this shit? It's real. It says a newlywed couple from California was arrested while on their honeymoons in Hawaii for allegedly not following the state's mandatory traveler self-quarantine order, Hawaii's governor office said Friday. Boris Yepayapvisky, 20, and Yeleni Chachenko, why do we get all these Eastern Europeans, 26 of Citra Heights, were taken into custody on Thursday by special agents from the Hawaii Department of the Attorney General, the governor's office said. The couple arrived in their Waikiki hotel Wednesday night. Officials said the front desk manager read them the requirements of the self-quarantine order. The couple reportedly said this contradicted what the airport screeners had told them. They also indicated they planned to visit friends and go to parks and beaches and claimed the airport screeners told them that this was okay. The governor's office said in a statement, the hotel manager reiterated the rules. He reiterated the rules to these free Americans and said the couple scoffed at him again and then they left the hotel. Good for them, except they got thrown in the clank. The couple returned to the hotel after midnight with pizza, telling the manager they were allowed to be outside to buy food, officials said. The couple refused to sign the required quarantine acknowledgement, the statement said. On Thursday, the hotel's general manager was told the couple left their room again. When they came back, the couple was told again they violated the self-quarantine order. Attorney General special investigators were notified and arrested the couple. They are being charged under Hawaii's revised statutes for unsworn falsification to authority and violation of the 14-day quarantine, the governor's office said. Hawaii Attorney General Claire Connors said in a statement her department appreciates the help and vigilance of the hotel staff who are working to maintain the public's health and safety. Oh, those
Stasi network I'm talking about. My partner in MAGA Institute, Brooke McGowan, is one of the leaders of the Reopen Hawaii movement. They're having another protest tomorrow at noon Hawaiian time on the Capitol. Jason Jones was arrested there last Friday, so we're going to see what this Friday brings. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is how draconian Hawaii is. If you fly into Hawaii, you go through 4 stations. There are 4 stations you have to go through to enter Hawaii. The first one, they take your temperature. Okay, not a big deal, right? The second one is more restrictive. The third one, they counsel you on the 14-day restriction. The fourth one, they make you sign in a 2-page acknowledgement that you won't leave your hotel room for 14 days. They also they make you show photo ID, they register you, they make you, at station 3, they make you identify where you're going to be staying, and they make you stay at station 3 until they make a phone call to that residence or that hotel to confirm that that's where you're going to be staying. And then station 4, you sign away your constitutional rights. And then you go on to station 5, which is the county sheriffs that do the same thing in station 3. They take your photo ID.
Are you kidding me? Where'd you get this information from?
And this was all online today. And they make you stay, the sheriffs make you stay at station 5 until they call and confirm that you're staying at that residence or at that hotel.
I want to know where the anal probe comes in. Is that station 6 where you have to bend over and grab your ankles?
Yeah, really. And then when you get to the hotel, you have to sign another acknowledgement that you're not going to leave your room for 14 days, not even for food. You have to order in, and you can't pay cash. You have to order online. This is Nazi Germany in America. That is Hawaii right now.
And all of Australia too, by the way. I mean, not quite those levels of thing, but it was mandatory. You had to be sequestered for 14 days. They were putting people in hotels here, but yeah, 14. When you came back, you were tested, and then you spent 14 days in a mandatory quarantine. Initially, it was a volunteer thing, and you'd have the police just going and randomly knocking on your door, and if you weren't home, you get a fine and that kind of thing. And initially, I didn't have too big of a problem with it before we found out what was going on. You know, back when we thought this thing could be like SARS, but is going to have the, be as catchable and contractable as the flu. So, it was fine then. But now, again, we know that that's not the case now. So the rationale for this stuff is no longer there. This is just a power grab now.
So when we started this little PowerPoint, I asked you the question, who were the lawbreakers, right? And the answer from COVID 1984 teammates is those enforcing and creating these laws. They are the ultimate lawbreakers. And people, you need to get, swear alert here, effing pissed. I guess that wasn't a swear. I tried to pull it back for, I don't know why. You need to get fucking pissed, people. I'm sorry I have to use a swear word. It's going to turn some people off. They don't like it. I've had 1.5 drinks. I'm getting a little lippier right now. You have to get pissed off and say no more. No more to this. No more to this. Guys, look at the timeline here. I think it's my timeline. Yeah, look at this. This is what I want you to see. January 17th, this all kicked off in America. The United States responds to the outbreak by implementing screenings for symptoms at the airports in San Francisco. Okay? In February, the U.S. Embassy in Beijing confirms that a 60-year-old U.S. national died in Wuhan on February 6th, marking the first confirmed death. Okay? Then we jump to March. Trump declares a national emergency to free up $50 billion in federal resources to combat the scamdemic. Then on April 2nd, according to the Department of Labor, 6.6 million U.S. workers file for their first week of unemployment benefits in the week ending March 28th. The highest number in initial claims in history. And by May, a couple days ago, you have newlyweds going to Hawaii and getting arrested. That is 5 months, guys. 5 months. Within 5, not really even 5 months, because this happened halfway through. Almost 5 months. In 5 months, you have taken the Constitution, the land of the free, the home of the brave, where you can go out and do what you want to do. You don't have to, you're not in a military state being told what you can do. And you have a scam of a flu virus that the numbers are being lied to you about. All the numbers are being manipulated. They're calling the people that call these out. They're putting them through campaigns and smear campaigns, trashing their names like Judy Mikovits and Dr. Erickson in California and a slew of other doctors and people. They're smearing those names. But then Dr. Fauci, he gets to come out and tell you, running a complete and total scam from Ferguson, we're going to talk about a little bit later, the doctor who put this model out that was completely bunk. They have done this to you in 5 months. If that doesn't fucking piss you off, I have no hope for us as Americans. I'm getting fired up right now because this is absolutely where we're at. And if you don't wake up and smell the freaking burning coffee in the pot, then you are going to be asked to get on the cattle cart, taken to the nice warm rooms where they're going to provide you with nice warm warmth and whatnot, and just go in the room, don't mind. You deserve that place if you're not going to stand up and say no more.
We need to have a giant collective game of Twister. I'm serious. I mean, it's just we just going to have to start defying these people. I think that's really the only answer. Just defiant. I mean, we know what our unalienable rights are. I mean, know, unalienable rights in my mind, that's a universal concept. It's not just here in the United States. We might recognize it, but unalienable rights are rights that have always existed. We have a right to assemble. We have a right to go out and to earn a living, to have keep and bear arms, all these things, and these people are just telling us that we don't. And if we don't stand up and say, hey, we're going to have our collective game of Twister, we're going to have Twister tournaments.
Yeah, right.
What are you going to do about it?
Right, exactly.
Hey, Dan, I like that idea. A friend of mine works for a hospital in Houston, actually, and in the elevator they had little footprints in each of the four corners. And so, of course, I memed, who knew that the box step could save lives? And I told her, I said, what you need to do the next day is to go and turn the elevator into a giant twister board. But I love that idea of having twister treatment, twister freedom.
Tim, share your idea. Oh no, don't share it yet. You'll share it on the next segment here. Tim will lead off on the next segment with his idea of his mask that he's coming up with. Don't share it yet, though, Tim. Don't share it yet. But I want Tim to say his new mask. Okay, guys, listen. I want to take a 60-second timeout so I can gather my chi right now and talk to the guys real quick. But do not go anywhere. We're going to come back and talk about masks for a minute. And then we're going to jump into a little bit of who the globalists are and who's running this whole shit show and how and why they're running this whole shit show. From now we're getting away from the governors. Let's go way up the pyramid, right? Let's go way up the pyramid. And guess what? It used to be called a conspiracy. It ain't a conspiracy anymore if you're paying attention. It's actual reality that they're rolling out. And if you don't see that, like I said before, you can get on the cattle car that's going to take you to the warm little room, right? You can get on there, and that's where you need to go. If you don't understand that this isn't a conspiracy anymore, they are doing this to us right now. So let me take a quick 60-second timeout. We'll be right back.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, I have to, I can actually come back.
Imagine an audio collection of parody songs designed to trigger the safe place snowflakes of the most easily offended among us. Experience one of the best collections in conservative parody troll musical meanings. Direct from SJG Perspective Productions comes the Patriot Parody Troll Leftist Aneurysm Inducing Collection. Have a laugh with Ice Ice Baby. Or ponder the truth of media lies with Tell Me Lies. You might need to take a shower after listening to Super Creep. No other collection will bring joy and tears of laughter to the ears of the conservatives. while simultaneously bringing tears of frustration and anger to the SJWs and the leftists among us. To receive your collection, like, share, and subscribe to SJG Perspective and receive access to this content and much, much more. Don't wait.
Over the
It
border,
can
or whatever you
disappear
like.
anywhere.
Go to one of those sanctuary cities.
Subscribe today.
Sorry?
All
Just
right.
say your name is Juan Paco Enrique Gomez. Even with the accent, you'll still get all your stuff for free.
All right, welcome
Hey,
back.
g'day guys, I'm a Mexican. Let me in.
Welcome back, everybody, to SJG Perspective. So, on the last segment we jumped off here, I wanted Dan to, or not Dan, excuse me, I wanted Tim to lead off on the mask. So, wear a mask. Facial expressions are not allowed. So, Dan, why don't you share your idea right now, and then we'll kind of go through. Because we were
mean
told to
Timbo?
wear a mask, so please share your idea.
Yeah, you mean Timbo. Dan had to leave.
Yeah, I know. I think
And I just want just a minor correction on your terminology before. It is a conspiracy. Okay, the term conspiracy theory was actually coined by the CIA in the 60s to disparage people that weren't swallowing the Warren Commission whitewash of the Kennedy assassination.
True.
So it just because you call it a theory doesn't mean that there isn't really a conspiracy.
You know, that's funny you say that, because I go back to Jungle. What was it called? The Jungle, not Jungle Fever, but the comedy with what's his face, Iron Man and Ben Stiller, Jungle Fever, or what was it called?
Jungle Book?
No, yeah, I know the one you mean.
You know what I'm talking about? Jungle. Somebody in there will say something soon here. Jungle, whatever it is. But Robert Downey Jr. on that one scene, it kind of goes with what you're saying about conspiracy. And he's singing the songs to the Jeffersons. Moving on up to the top, deluxe apartment in the sky. And the real black guy goes, "That's the lyrics to the Jeffersons." And he goes, "Just because it's the lyrics to the Jeffersons, don't make it not so." And I like to think, I like to go with the whole thought that just because it's a conspiracy, don't make it not so.
That's exactly right. Just because it's a conspiracy theory doesn't mean it's not so. Yeah. I had a friend of mine who's a seamstress, and I have to hold this up on my phone.
Okay, I'm going to put you on big view then. All right, go.
Hopefully you can see this. She made this mask for me. It's coming, actually.
Yeah, turn it sideways. You just had that.
Well, no, here's what I have to. I have to lock my screen so it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
It looks a bit arousing, though. I got to admit, Dan. I mean, Tim. I got to admit.
Timbo, not Dan. Dan had to leave.
I know Dan had to leave. So.
Okay, so my seamstress friend made me this mask, and you can't see it, but that's not mesh in front of a paper backing. It's a fishnet mask. She used millinery netting to do it. She's a seamstress friend of mine, and so here's what I recommend. First of all, I tell people to mind their own business, and then if they push you, if they say you can't enter the store, without a mask, say, I have a medical exemption, and if they ask you what it is, you say ADA and HIPAA regulations prevent you from asking me that question, and you just walk past them and go on your business. And then if they say they're going to throw you out, you pull out one of these and you say, okay, I'll put on my mask because you're complying with the letter of the law.
Right.
Ridiculing.
But you're giving them a big 2-finger up. Yes.
Exactly.
And here's the funny part about this, as my little PowerPoint says. We were first told to wear a mask. Then we were told not to wear a mask. They don't help, and the doctors need them. Those two statements can't exist in the same reality. You can't have them because they don't work, and also not have them because the doctors need them. Those don't work, guys. Think about the inconsistencies here. Get pissed at the inconsistencies and point them out. Think about these beforehand, so when you're having conversations with people, you can have a verbal meme. A verbal meme is just a 1 or 2 sentence, something that conveys a truth in 1 or 2 sentences that they can go, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't compute, where it'll screw up their cognitive dissonance inside their brain.
Well, here's one I posted tonight. How come every cashier has plexiglass in front of them, but not behind them to protect them from the customer standing 10 inches away in the next aisle?
Right. And now we're back.
The coronavirus can't get you from behind.
Oh, that's
obvious.
True. No, that's Australian logic. That's Australian logic, man.
In one direction?
That's Australian logic, dude. See, that's the problem with you Australians. See, you think that's a thing. That's not a thing, man. Just like shrimp on the Barbie isn't a thing, the coronavirus can get you from behind.
Sure, it's a thing. I saw it in the movie, man.
So they told us we don't need a mask, or we were told to wear a mask, and they said don't wear them because the doctors need them and they don't help. And now they've said you can't go or shop unless you have a mask. These are the ones telling us the truth. What the? These are the ones. These guys right here. Felty, right? Those guys right there are the ones telling you that you need to do these things. And they're the ones that are coming from this bad model. They're the ones literally lying to you, and we're capitulating. We're capitulating. Not us, not my fine people listening, but the most of people out there are capitulating. We decide that we think that this is true, so we capitulate to them, and it's absolute bollocks. Isn't that like an Australian thing to say? Bollocks.
Bollocks. Oh, well, that's more British, but yeah, Australians do use it. But just on the another thing with this, the pandemic that we've got going on now, the guy who actually put forward the modelling that is being used to justify the lockdown, he got caught banging his married mistress and had to resign from his job. So, like, he doesn't even believe the BS that he's spewing.
No, I know. It's insane. Hey, did you guys hear, and I don't have the articles up, but did you hear about the 3 Russians? Not a joke. I know most jokes start that way. Did you guys hear about the 3 Russians? Did you hear about the 3 Russians today or yesterday?
Jumped out a window.
That all jumped out of a window and died. 2 out of the 3 died. One's in a coma with a skull fracture. All of them were researching or had something to do with the coronavirus stuff. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, interestingly, they were all researchers into the Control U virus. Oh, and by the way, the medical researcher at Drexel University who was about to make a major breakthrough, yeah, he was shot by his homosexual lover who then shot himself. How about that?
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Here's what I was telling Dan earlier before we went on, when we were talking on the phone. Here's what they're doing, guys. It goes back to, I want to tie it back to Epstein for you. This is what I think's happening. Everyone and their mother knows that Sheetrock and Epstein have one thing in common. They don't hang themselves. Epstein didn't kill themselves. The people that killed Epstein knew nobody was truly going to buy this. But they knew some people were, and they knew there'd be enough plausible deniability. We're just going to put it out there. But really what I think was happening is they were like, we don't give a crap that you know we did it. Yeah, we're doing it. We're coming out of the closet. We're coming out of the shadows, and we're showing you who we are, and you can do nothing. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And I think partially maybe why they're doing that is they're pushing us. They're pushing us. They want us to revolt, because then it's going to give them a reason then to, implement their draconian military presence upon us. But we're going to have to probably go through that. We're going to have to push back because we have a small infinitesimal amount of people that are globally that are pushing this on everybody else, right? But they're just coming out and saying, yeah, these people are dying. If you think you have something that really is going to change our narrative that we are working very hard for decades to do, and that we've worked so hard to implement this Event 201 agenda on everybody, if you think you're going to come out and you're going to spoil it, we're going to if you're the doctor that's going to do it, we're going to smear you till your name is nothing in mud, and we're going to make you the laughing, ridiculing stock. And if you have hard black and white evidence that could prove that all this is a scamdemic, you're going to fall out a window or you're going to get shot by your gay lover. That is what they're doing. And they're knowing that a lot of people aren't going to buy it. It's going to raise a lot of red flags. They don't care. That's kind of what I think.
And the icing on that cake too, the 3 scientists from Russia that jumped out the window all died of coronavirus.
No. I thought you were serious for a minute. That is probably how they probably get listed as coronavirus.
Steve, I sent you just before we went on the video of Vittorio Svaggi
Share that.
in Italy, in the whatever they called their legislature in Italy, and he got up there and he was just lambasting him, saying, "Don't you dare desecrate the memories of 25,000 Italians who died by saying that they died from this, Control U virus. They died of cancer. They died of heart attacks. 60% died of something other. And 96.3% of the 25,000 had at least one comorbidity.
Let's listen to it.
60% outright died of something else. Do not desecrate their memories.
Let's listen to it.
Siamo alla vigilia del 25 aprile.
Or read it.
E occorre essere uniti contro le dittature e uniti nella verità. Non facciamo di questa l'aula della menzogna.
Let's not make this a chamber of
Non
lies.
il 26 febbraio,
Not the 26th of
ma
September,
il 9
but the
marzo.
9th. The
La
science evoked here
la
said
scienza qua evocata diceva
that the
che il
virus
virus
was little more than
era
an
poco più
influenza.
che un'influenza. Quella scienza
The science is
è
what
quella a cui
inspired
si è
this
ispirato
government.
questo governo. È
It is
detto,
said, it is
è
said and
stato
documented.
detto,
It was
è
said.
documentato, è stato detto. Non
Don't
mentite.
lie, tell the truth.
Allora dite la verità. Non
Don't
fate
make
di
this
questa
chamber of
l'aula della
lies, at
menzogna.
least the principle.
Almeno qui si applichi il principio
Of
di
Gimbi
Giambattista
out of Vico applied,
verum
Vico.
ipsum factum.
I
E
didn't read
allora
that, sorry. You have to heard it, you have
avete
given the numbers.
sentito e avete dato i numeri, li voglio dare anch'io.
I want to
No
give them to
datis,
you. No
no
datus.
pagani.
No pagani.
Non
Don't
dite
also say
anche
here
qui
25 deaths.
25.000 morti. Non è
It's
vero.
not the truth. Don't
Non
use the
usate
deaths
i
and the
voti
rhetoric for
per retoriche
terrorism.
e per terrorismo.
From the numbers
I
from the
dati
Higher Institute of Health to
dell'Istituto
say
Superiore della Sanità dicono
that
che
96.3
il 96,3% sono morti
died from the
per altre
disease.
patologie.
Exactly the data, the
esattamente i
numbers,
dati,
the numbers.
I numeri. Dice questo.
Say this, and it is the truth. It is the truth. Read it. Read
Colleghi,
it. Colleagues,
Collega.
unintelligible. I've read them all.
Tutti. Il
60% died from other
sono morti
diseases.
per altre patologie.
According to the
Detto
Higher
dall'Istituto
Institution
Superiore
of
della
Health.
Sanità. Se non lo
If you
sai,
don't know it,
studia.
study it. Think about what he's saying right there. 60% of these people died from something else.
Actually, that was a mistranslation. 96.3%. The Higher Institute of Medicine in Italy said 96.3% of the 25,000 died from something else.
Yeah.
collega Sgarbi, si rivolga. Collega Sgarbi.
He's gonna have a
Collega
stroke.
Trizzino. Collega Trizzino. Collega Sgarbi si rivolga alla Presidenza.
While Italy has sorry, while Italy was a red zone, everyone here was without a mask.
Erano senza mascherine.
Today,
Oggi
Bassini is
Basini è
accused
accusato
because
per
he has to wear
portare
it.
per
You are
forza.
ridiculous.
Siete ridicoli. Non l'avete portata.
You didn't wear it until the
fino
day
all'altro
before
ieri.
yesterday. This is
Esattamente
exactly
così.
how it is. In
In
Germany, the
Germania,
economy, healthcare, and the
economia,
schools
sanità e scuola,
will work
il 4
perfectly on May
maggio
4th.
funzioneranno perfettamente. Siamo
We are
uno
a state with the
Stato
fewest
con
rights
minori
in Europe.
diritti nell'Europa. Germany
has
dato
shown
prove di
proof of the
forza
strength and
e
the
di
correct
risposta
response.
Giusta. Noi qui
We here
siamo
are once
umiliati
more
ancora una volta dalla
humiliated by
Germania,
Germany,
anche nella
even in
malattia.
illness.
Abbiamo chiuso il
We have closed
60%
60% of the
delle imprese.
businesses.
Io do dei
I
dati,
have given data,
caro
dear
Trizzino, vagli a
Trevino.
verificare.
Go check it out.
Allora,
No, it's clear
è chiaro
that I
che
was
io fui il
the
primo a
first to
chiedere la
call for the
chiusura del
closure of the
Parlamento.
Parliament.
Oggi siamo
Today,
qua,
here we are,
tutti
everybody in
mascherati.
masks,
L'altra volta
while the
c'era
other time
soltanto
there was only
nell'unto c'erano pochissimi
there were only a few.
dall'osso.
There were a
Erano
few in
pochi che
masks.
portavano la
Who
mascherina.
are wearing masks,
Oggi
and today
si è
we are
additati
pointed
se
out
non la
if
si
you don't
porta.
wear a mask.
Ebbene,
Well,
proprio
precisely
perché la
because the
verità è la
truth is
cosa
the
più
most important
importante,
thing.
diamo i
It's
numeri
given the actual
reali.
numbers. Let us
Non
not
dobbiamo
continue to
mentire.
lie.
Ci sono certamente
This
dei
is certainly
dati
strong
forti.
data. I
Leggo
read
anche
it here
qua,
too, Trevino.
Trizzino. Il 56%
50% in Lombardy, 14% in Emilia,
14% in Emilia,
8% in
l'8% in
Piedmont,
Piemonte,
5% in
il 5%
Veneto.
in Veneto. Non possiamo
We cannot
immaginare di
imagine
applicare
applying
delle norme
uniform rules
unitarie con zone così
with such disparate
disparate
zones of
di
the epidemic.
epidemia.
And so,
E allora dico almeno
I
qui
say at least
diciamo la
here we
verità.
speak the truth.
Misuriamoci
Measure
con la
ourselves against
Germania,
Germany. Let us
siamo
be
uniti
united in
nella
liberation
liberazione
against hypocrisy
contro
and lies,
l'ipocrisia e le menzogne. Contro
against
le
falsifications, against the
contro
false
i
numbers that
falsi
are
numeri
given.
che vengono dati per terrorizzare gli
To
italiani.
terrorize Italians,
I
the
25.000
25,000 dead, as
come diceva il
Professor Bassetti said,
sono
died of heart
morti di
attacks,
infarto, di
cancer,
cancro,
and
di
other
altre
things.
Non usiamoli
Let's not use
per
them to
umiliare
humiliate
l'Italia.
Italy.
Non
Let's
usiamoli
not use
per
them to
dare
give
ai
citizens
cittadini
false
false
news.
notizie.
Give the
Date i
numbers.
numeri,
Check them
controllateli
out.
e
And I
sfido
challenge you
il
before a
tribunale
jury of honor,
Trizzino
Trezino.
a guardare i numeri.
Collega
To
Sgarbi
look
si
at the
rivolga
numbers.
alla Presidenza.
Turn it to the
Semplicemente
president.
detto che
I
i
simply
numeri
said they
danno
all
tutti,
give
ma
numbers,
non dicono
but
numeri
not
falsi.
false numbers.
Non sono morti in Italia
25,000 people did not die of the coronavirus in Italy. It's not true.
25.000 persone di coronavirus. Non è vero. È un
It's
modo
a way
per
to
terrorizzare
terrorize
gli italiani
Italians and
e
impose a
imporre una
dictatorship.
dittatura
God.
del consenso.
Of consent.
È
It's ridiculous.
ridicolo.
Oh man, he's my new hero too. Can you
And I
imagine?
tweeted that out to Ted Cruz and all the physicians in the House and the Senate, Rand Paul, and all of the doctors in the House. I said, who is going to be our Vittorio Sgrabi?
And I tell you what, he
in our legislature and call BS on this CoronaCon.
he did say the name of the city Veneto wrong. I corrected him, but no, this guy seriously, if somebody in our government could do that, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. But no, they won't do it. I doubt they'll do it.
Well, to be fair, the House is not in session, so there's been no opportunity because Nancy's, playing hide the salam. And,
Hide the ice cream.
Too busy eating ice cream.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I wanted to jump into this. We're going to go for another little bit here. I can't go too long before I get a call from my wife saying, "Where are you at? It's really late." Rational knows what I'm talking about. It happens all the time.
I'm surprised you haven't had the call yet.
I'm sure it's coming. She knew
I
did tell her, I have some important interviews tonight. Don't be calling me too much or, whatever. She might be listening. I don't know. I love you, honey, if you are. You know it's true. Girl, you know it's true. Okay, anyway.
This is SJG.
That's right. What is happening currently? If we don't get through all of this, we'll pick it up on our next one. I want to make this a series maybe. But what I really think ultimately is happening is removing independence to create total dependence. That is what we are seeing happening on epic proportions right now. This has always been the globalist agenda. This has always been what they've wanted to do. But right now, this is what they're implementing full force, right? We saw it with 9/11. I can go back to 9/11 and tell you the liberties we've lost from there to now, how we became less independent and more dependent and more surveilled. This is the next massive step that they are implementing, and it is more or less an exercise. I think what this whole thing is right now, rolled out on a coordinated worldwide global stage, is a test. How much are they going to take? How much are they willingly going to lay down and take, right?
All of it.
All of it. Right now.
We've been willing to give up.
All of it. Exactly. Right now, we've been willing to just lay down, bend over, and give it to them. So,
we didn't get the steak dinner, Steve.
Right. Exactly. So they're wanting to remove the independence from us. So implementation, what we're seeing right now with this is the implementation of global fascism. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that.
It is quite literally, because the definition of fascism is total government control of privately owned means of production. And that's what we have. We've got private companies that are under.
You had it right, countries.
Control. It's the very definition of fascism.
Mm-hmm. No, it truly, truly is, except we don't have the cute mustaches and the jack boots.
And the hot-looking uniforms.
That's true. We're missing those.
And it's exactly what the left has been pushing for years.
So now I'm gonna put up something that's been ridiculed in the past, and we talked about conspiracies and whatnot, that I think is so fitting right now for us to take a look at, guys, because the more I've researched this, the more I understand the truth behind it. The more I understand the true truth behind this pyramid. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but at the top, it's the world monarch, right? And you got the all-seeing eye, right? The whole, and that's the other thing, how I talked about the Epstein and them coming out of the closet and flaunting it in your face. Everyone's like, did you see this entertainer do that? Did you see this person do that? Did you know that they're all doing this, and they're doing it to troll you, but they're also doing it to reveal themselves also, and to say, yeah. And it's a form of mind control and social programming that is fully taking place. My wife has just been getting red pilled. I don't know what color you'd call it recently. I've talked about these things with her for a while, but I shared a David Icke video with her, and she watched it, and she was just like blown away. And all of a sudden she starts it was almost serendipitous, because she starts researching or looking at the news, and all of a sudden these things popped up with Elon Musk, right? And everyone thinks, oh, Elon Musk, man, he's on our side. He came out and said, end the lockdowns, goddammit, end them. These are gone far enough. Guys, it's all a show. It's all a shit show. Watch their actions, not their words. Elon Musk is dick deep in all of this stuff.
Elon Musk backed Kevin McCarthy. Elon Musk was backing the Andrew Yang's universal basic income until they cut a deal, and they told him, just back off this for a little bit and we'll give you some business. So Elon Musk is not on our side.
No. Did his girlfriend Grimes, she started researching this chick, right? I should pull up this video.
Why do you think he's married? Why do you think he's dating her?
Yeah, exactly, because she's 25 years younger than him. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And clearly a very low
Yeah, she's dumber than rocks, dude. When you listen to her, like, and whatnot, but she is hardcore, deep into the Luciferian, one world cult kind stuff. You watch her music, it'll blow your mind. Like, and
literally has one song called "We Love Control."
Yeah. We Love Control. Exactly. I should pull that up and play it for people. They'll blow her mind. Let's do that real quick. I didn't want to totally get off of this, but I'm gonna pull that. I'm gonna pull this up real quick.
She's 20
Grimes,
something years old.
Control. I think it's Control. Control. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull this up. We appreciate the power. This right here, guys, this is going to blow your mind if you haven't heard this song. Okay, this is going to, I got to let this stupid ad play. Yeah, you go, Christina. Sing it, Christina Aguilera. Sing it, sweetheart. Okay, so this right here, guys, is Elon Musk's girlfriend. And I did some research on this, and she laughed it off, saying, oh, I was just trying to troll people, or was I? She kind of is like, I don't know. I think I believe in a lot of this, but, I don't know. Listen and read the lyrics. They'll be on the bottom here. They're kind of hard to read. Listen to the words of this song, "The Keeper of the Key." Now, when they say this, I'm not going to play any more of this because I'll get hammered.
They're talking about Jay-Z's divinity.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they're talking about. They're not talking about they're talking about this divinity right up here, if you can see it, at the very top, right? This eye. That's the divinity of this world, right? The power and the gods of this world. The Bible, I don't know, some are Christian, some aren't, whatever. Doesn't matter. You can find this in many different religion and religious writings, but it says we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers of the air and in high places, right? So it talks about the God of this world. The God of this world is the God she's talking about, and the God that these people in this pyramid worship. And the gods in that this pyramid worships wants total control and power over you. And that's where this is not a conspiracy. This is a conspiracy, but it's a true conspiracy. When we talk about the Crown Council of 13, the Committee of 300, the think tanks like the Trilateral Commission, the Foreign CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, the United Nations, the Bilderberg Group, the Club of Rome, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, and the list goes on and on and on. These groups of people up here are who are making the rules, and they're getting it from their leaders up here. The tiny infinitesimal amount of people who run everything. I think they said there's 13, basically. The group Council of 13 is 13 bloodlines that own literally everything.
I don't give much truck to the 13 bloodlines and all that sovereign citizen BS about how, the United States flag is a battle flag. It's not the civilian flag. And, we're a corporation. And if you're a member of the bar here, that's the British Admiralty Registry. And that stuff's all BS. So the problem I have with all this stuff is that it takes a massive core of truth and then it wraps it in this veneer of lunacy that turns people, it's counterproductive because it turns people off to all the truth that's there. You don't need to get into the Illuminati stuff and into the 13 bloodline stuff to realize that there is a global cabal of private bankers. And, the Federal Reserve, most citizens don't know this. The Federal Reserve is not part of the federal government. It is a private bank owned by the Rockefellers at Chase Manhattan Bank, owned by the Rothschilds. We gave in 1913, we gave our sovereignty to these private bankers. They control our money supply. One of the reasons John F. Kennedy was killed was because he issued U.S. Treasury notes. You can find them from 1961. It doesn't say Federal Reserve note on the top. It says U.S. Treasury note. Mm-hmm. Okay, he was trying to take back our fiscal sovereignty from the private banksters. Every single country in the world has a privately owned central bank, except for the countries that have all been involved in these wars, Iraq, Afghanistan, etc.
No, I know, exactly.
Well, isn't that why Gaddafi was taken out? Because he was looking to start up a bank for nations in Africa that sort of went around these private banking systems.
Yeah, he wanted to get rid of the petrodollar. And see, that's something I used to talk about a lot, is the petrodollar is when we got off the gold reserve back in 71, 72 with Nixon, all of a sudden they started backing our dollar. They just were printing it. It's a big Ponzi scheme, right? It really isn't anything. But they backed it. We got into bed with Saudi Arabia. You want to talk about a country that doesn't give a shit about human rights, that doesn't give a crap about democracy. Saudi Arabia is the worst. And we got in bed with them and we said, hey, we'll do a deal for you. We'll protect you with our military while you only sell your oil in the American dollar. So that's what's given us the dollar value, if you will, right? And so when companies threaten to get off of that, that's when all of a sudden they need to have democracy, and we're going to bring it to them with bombs. That's when all of a sudden we need to go in and overthrow these terrible, mean, bad dictators because they don't care about the people. As soon as they threaten that global hegemony on the dollar, which has been shrinking and is going away, and if you think it's sticking right now, you're fooling yourself, guys.
Well, that's why BRICS are such a threat. BRICS. People look it up. BRICS. It's why it's such a threat to them. And, I have favored maybe not the gold standard, but going to an asset-backed dollar again. And you can make it be a basket of securities, a basket of commodities. It can be gold, it can be wheat, it can be pork bellies, it can be a lot of different things mixed together, but have it actually backed by assets instead of just fiat, the promise to pay back. All the US dollar is now is basically an IOU.
Well, hey, yeah, exactly. I want to reply to a comment here. Freebird said, I ain't got time for cabal bullshit. Good old-fashioned common sense can figure this shit out now. I agree with you, but I think it's important to understand what you're seeing right now, buddy, because what we're seeing right now goes way farther up the chain than Donald Trump, right, than the Republican Democrats, any of that stuff. And it is a conspiracy, but it's true. And you need to wake up and understand how far up the pyramid, if you will, this stuff goes. I feel like it's important to understand. You got to really pull back the veils and say, this isn't just about us getting our guns and going and just standing against it. It may come to that, and I'm not against that. My point is this: who we're fighting is not just the Republican or Democrat. It goes way, way, way deeper than that. That's my point.
I don't think there's any doubt that there are groups of people out there about whom we know very little that are all investing in accumulating for themselves an enormous amount of power, and we are under attack. Well, I do have a little bit of a problem, though, with the pyramid thing, as, sorry, I've forgotten the other fella's name. What's your name
Freebird.
again? Sorry?
Timbo.
Oh, Timbo, yeah.
So as you were saying, like taking it to that broader conspiracy with the Illuminati and things like that, I think there's people just drawing long bows that don't need to be drawn. Like, we know that there are people that are trying to accumulate power for themselves. It's always been that way right throughout human history. We have seen that there have been groups of people who have tried to take power. So we can just leave it at that. We know that's going on. We know that there is power grabs that are taking place in China. We know there are power grabs taking place in the Islamic world. We know that there's a global Islamic jihadi movement that want to take control of the world. We know that China wants to take control. We know that there are evil factions in the US that want to take control. We know that there are bankers that want to take control. So we don't really need to worry so much about the Illuminati thing, because that's just going to kind of alienate a lot of people, I think. So you just leave it at the fact that, just human nature tells us that when people have got power, they want more power.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's just a common sense thing.
Yeah, but I think
I agree with you completely.
But I also think, and maybe it's just that side of me that's kind of fun to look into this. I kind of think it's important. Yeah, we know people want to grab power from us, absolutely. But we kind of got to start to know who those people are and where they reside and how they're connected if we want to take them down.
And here's the thing. Look, I'm ecstatic that Michael Flynn was exonerated today and that the Justice Department filed a motion to dismiss in his case. I'm behind that 100%.
Right.
However, that doesn't change the fact that Michael Flynn was also texting during the inauguration. While Trump was giving his inaugural speech, he was texting that removing sanctions on Russia to push the IP3 deal through to get nuclear power plants into Saudi Arabia was, quote, going to make a lot of people very rich. Okay, so I'm very glad that the FBI has been called out on its malicious prosecution and on its criminal behavior. But that doesn't also mean at the same time that Michael Flynn is a saint.
So he was in favor of letting Saudi Arabia have nuclear power plants. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I never heard that.
No, not just in favor of it, but working as a consultant on it as part of the Flynn Group, research IP3.
See, but that goes to show you again, and not to crap on Donald, not to crap on. Welcome aboard, Dakota. You finally got it. Glad to see it. not to crap on Donald Trump or anything, but it's like, okay, so then he's probably part of this whole thing too. So shouldn't we know that? Shouldn't we, instead of like support, hey, Flynn's free and he's a savior, or he's going to help us, or he's a good guy? Shouldn't we know? Wow, well, look at
who's responsible for driving the IP3 deal through? The Secretary of Everything, Trump's son-in-law, Jared.
Jared is a piece of crap. Jared is a piece of
his first visits
crap.
to Saudi Arabia.
I know.
Research IP3. You're not going to believe what you find.
Yeah, I'll look into it because I hadn't heard about this one.
So,
the reason why I think that Donald Trump, or the reason why I still have some vague amount of hope that Donald Trump is on our side, is because over the last couple of years, we have got to see just how big and how nasty and how powerful the swamp is.
Yeah.
That's it. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have seen that. Now, I am concerned about the fact that we're getting to see this big bad swamp out there that needs to get taken down, and basically, let's be honest, nothing's getting done. So this could be just a thing to kind of break us down too. But that's the thing. I mean, we can't know these things.
That is the thing, right? You need a bad guy to take out a bad guy. Now, I'm not saying that Trump is a bad guy, but no, just look up ip3international.com. You're not going to and Mike Flynn, and you're not going to believe what you find.
So here's kind of
I don't care if Trump's a bad guy. I just want him to be our bad guy.
Why are we giving, and it's worse, it's Russian nuclear technology, okay? Why are we giving Russian nuclear power plant technology to Saudi Arabia? It's insane.
So here's one of the reasons why I bring that up, though. And it kind of ties back to what Freebird was saying, right? Jared is on the president's side. I don't think that Jared's on I think Jared's on Jared's side, honestly.
Jared's on Jared's side.
Jared's on Jared's side. I'm sorry, Scarecrow. I kind of disagree with you on that. I love you to death, man. You're a diehard supporter, and I've talked about recently. I'm scared. I'm not scared I'm going to lose people. If you're going to leave, you're going to leave. But I'm not. I'm going to call it as I see it. I don't think Jared is. I think Jared's on Jared's side. I think he's a sheep in wolf's clothing, man. I don't like Jared. I really don't.
But at the end of the day, let me caution to say, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that Trump isn't trying to take down these global players that are trying to control the world, because he is.
Yeah. But here's why I led with the pyramid. How does this pyramid become an ultimate reality? Because this kind of ties into what Freebird was saying. I don't want to get wrapped up in conspiracies because we got to worry about what we're doing right now. We got to worry about, well, how it becomes a reality and it works is if they destroy our independence. And how do you let them destroy your independence? How does that, how do you let them do that? You sit back and you do nothing. And you just capitulate and you take it. And I kind of also wanted, and we're getting into all this. Maybe we'll do this slide and we'll pick up where this one left off next time. But why would these billionaires and these people in this pyramid, why do they want more? Why do they want to take us farther? Well, why would they want more money? They don't want money. It's not about money. This pyramid is about control. They want control. They want control of your mind. And out of that control of your mind, they want that because then they can create the perception. That is what we're seeing happen right now in so many of the sheeple and people, and how this pyramid, how this whole, why it matters fits into place. Your media, your government, your heads of state, they are all about taking control of our mind to create the perception. Taking control of your mind to create the perception. That is what it is all about. In my mind, that is really what we're talking about right now when it comes to a lot of this stuff, is exactly that. I mean, and we're seeing that happen. Kind of some of the things that we just touched on. I guess I'll pop back over this for 1 second. Is how they do that is through the programming, right? And how they do that is through the media. I really see that. I mean, if you want to get an example of that, you have examples of it like this. Fear. Fear. 15 children hospitalized in New York City with mysterious syndrome, possibly linked to the coronavirus, right?
Yeah. Meanwhile, do you think out of a population of 8.3 million people, 15 children with Kawasaki syndrome is unusual? No, it's not.
Right. The same people that want to hit you with fear say, or the same people that scream, my body, my choice, have no problem forcing coronavirus vaccines at gunpoint, right? They're fear. It's all fear. And that's what they're pushing. That's also what we got to fight back against. Mass media is a mind control, perpetual worry as a means of imprisonment. These are the things that they are doing to control you. And then they lie to you. They lie to you, they lie to you, they lie to you. The CNN Steltler blasted hydrochloroquine for the virus. But turns out his wife, get that, turns out his wife uses it. Not just for COVID, right? You see those things where it's like Brian Steltler and other people saying it's terrible. Or Como saying, oh, he's so sick when he was out doing his own thing. He comes out of the basement and whatnot, right? Like this was some big special thing. They lie to you. Here, the other example. This Judy Mikovits, right? YouTube removes the pandemic video with the coronavirus claims by Dr. Judy Mikovits, right? They lie to you, yet then we believe that the truth is what came from Ferguson and all this other stuff. They lie to you. Here's another little quick article. I'm not reading them all. Experts say Dr. Dan Erickson and Arden Massey's coronavirus musings on viral video, comparing it to the flu, were reckless. It's reckless for them to tell you this. Why is it reckless for them to tell you this? Because we're trying to program you with what you need to believe.
And according to the stats, you would have to argue that this virus is actually less dangerous than the flu, simply because the flu will occasionally kill healthy people. Adults will get it and get violently sick. I know because I had it when I was in my early 20s and I was laid out for a week. Most healthy people get coronavirus are barely even getting sick. You know, kids die occasionally from the flu, whereas it's very rare for kids to be dying of this one. So,
yeah,
you know, it's not a flu.
I had 104-degree fever with the Hong Kong flu in 1968. Okay. It's like a flu. We lost 60,000 people here to the flu 2 years ago in the U.S.
Yeah.
So this is like a flu.
Yeah.
Which is what Trump said at the beginning. And, you know, I do give him some leeway on all this because I go back to his initial gut reaction, knee-jerk response. This is a media hoax. He called it out. And I think what happened, I said this on our stream last night, Steve, I think what happened is he saw that he wasn't going to be able to nip it in the bud by pointing out that it's a media hoax. And he's like, okay, you want to make it a crisis? I'll show you how to manage a crisis.
Yeah, maybe. Or that's one way to look at it. Or the other way is that he is then people are barking in his ear and he's like, oh, okay, well, this looks better for me. And if I'm going to get in trouble, if I don't come out and say this is bad, then I guess I'll capitulate and I'll say, oh yeah, this is terrible. That's part of the thing where I'm wrestling a little bit with him is that, like you said, and we talked about this yesterday, he came out and he said it's nothing but the flu, and now he's saying we're carrying this on. We're opening the government. We're going to carry on this because of ratings, because it's popular. We're going to carry on the task force, and we're going to go farther. And he's listening to guys like Fauci, right? And he's listening to what they have to say, and he's giving them a platform. And you think it's because he's giving him rope to hang himself. And I'm like, that's maybe. Or the opposite is he's like, oh, I don't know. Fauci might be a good guy. Let's get him in here. I don't know.
As we said last night, time will tell. But I really think we're going to get to the point where he says, oh, gee, I thought Fauci was a great guy, but I guess he's not.
Well, part of the problem is going to be we've had a little bit of a globalist cabal. I think certainly in the US, you know, like you've got your rhinos and you've got the DNC who are pretty much all about, you know, power and control, and I think basically eliminating the free world. And so I think it would be quite difficult for Donald Trump unless he formulated people around him, you know, over the years of building up his business empire, who were going to be people that he could bring in to the government. He was going to have to rely on people that were already involved in the government, a lot of whom to have got into positions of power are going to be people that are already sucked into the cabal. So, you know, I can give him a little bit of leeway on having bad people around him, because if you're swimming in a sewer, you're not going to get a trout. You're just going to get different sized turds.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
but here, I
agree with you on that.
You're exactly correct.
Yeah, but I agree with you to a point on that. And then I push back on that because I'm like, that's fine. Yeah, you're gonna get a turd once in a while when you're looking for the trout, right? But you don't put that turd in the captain's seat, steering the ship off the damn waterfall. That is steering the guy, right? Steering the ship off of the damn waterfall. If you find out and you do a little research, if you're going to put a guy like in charge of everything, and you only hire the best people, then what you're going to do is you're going to do a little research and make sure this guy's not going to drag your name through the mud. And since he doesn't,
I get that, but what I'm saying is, if everybody that is in the swamp is a turd, then you've got no choice but to have turds around you. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
I do think what he did
how
is
many?
he spent 3 years positioning good people in good positions. Okay, I really like Attorney General Barr. I really like our new National Director of Intelligence, Rick Grinnell. I got to meet him at CPAC a couple months ago. I really like Mark Meadows as the new Chief of Staff. So I think what he has done is he slowly put his people into key positions, and I think next week's going to be a big week.
Yeah,
I hope so. We need to start seeing people in the swamp get taken down.
As I said last night, I could be completely wrong, and Steve could be completely right. Only time will tell.
The only time will tell. All right, guys, listen. Next week, I want to cover what we do about it. We touched a little bit on the globalist cabal and got Freebird all mad. And he said, I don't want to put up with this, none of this conspiracy bullshit. Shit, dang, man. We touched a little bit on that. We got him through that. She's still there, so that's good. Next week, I want to know what we can do about it. Where's our power? I want to talk about that. And then I want to talk about China.
What we can do between now and next week, it's exactly what I've been calling for. Every business, every state open 100%, no restrictions, and every citizen has to patronize those businesses that open.
Don't wear a mask.
In your community that opens without restrictions, you go and you give them your money.
And don't call it contract tracing. Call it Big Brother surveillance, right? Don't cover any of that. If you're going to wear a mask, wear yourself a fishnet mask.
Fishnet.
Right. Make a stand against it, right? Go out there.
Hey,
right.
Did you ever get to think that we'd be the counterculture, though?
That's right. Seriously.
We're the
make
bad
a stand
guys.
on your social medias. You push back against these people. You say, this, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to capitulate anymore. We're not doing this bullshit anymore. We're getting with it.
Follow me on Facebook at Patriot Uprising and MAGA Institute. Give your contact info. Let's keep this going.
So say that again for everyone to hear. And actually, you can type it. You can type it into the chat and put it in there. But
put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat before we go. And then Rational Wrong Thing. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, not really. Just you got to fight for your freedom now more than ever. I think we are seeing the biggest power grab in the history of the world. It's an exciting time to be alive, but it's not exciting in a good way.
Right.
And I think we've got to be prepared to fight.
Yeah.
These are
you got to fight for your right to party.
Unpleasant times. Yeah, that's it. You got to fight for your right to party. Yeah. If you come on at this time next time, I'm actually going to have a brewski as well, mate, because it was midday when you started. That's good for me.
Right.
So
okay,
I'll have a drink with you.
So I'm going to put some rewards here in the old. I couldn't do it last time because I didn't have enough. I'm not getting donated enough, so I didn't have enough to put in there. But now I got 130, so I'm giving 100 back because that's how I roll, guys. That is how I roll. So what we're going to do here, and if Timothy doesn't understand how this works, so people donate on DLive. They can donate lemons to you, which essentially is cryptocurrency, but then you can convert that as a content creator. If as you get enough, you can convert that into actual money. So it's kind of like a super chat, if you will. So basically, one lemon is a penny. 100 diamonds or 100 pennies or 100 lemons is a diamond, which is $1. Up to a Ninja Genie is $10, and a Ninja Jet is $100. Yeah, my daughter just called, so she's probably kind of like, get in here. But anyways, so we are going to distribute right now. I'm going to give back, and I can distribute these to everybody who's been chatting. And so in 30 seconds, it's going to give back. I'll take this call from my daughter and tell her I'm just about ready to come in. But I need help with math. Hey, honey, I'm finishing up, and I'll be in 5 minutes. Yeah, you can ask me a question. I'm still streaming, but go ahead. No, that's fine. Yep. Okay. Okay, I will. I love you. Bye. Okay, so we have Freebird. 47 coins. Scarecrows gets 27. Lisi Peasy gets 20. And the real Rika, or the Real Rika, I don't know how you pronounce that, gets 16. So thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for being here. It's always fun. I love doing these streams, and we kept a good crowd all night, and I hope you guys had a good time. I think we had good conversation with everyone. So I think that's about it. I think with that, what I'll do here is I will probably say goodnight and we'll get done because shit, we've been streaming for almost 2 hours now. That was a good stream, man. That was a long good stream. But tune in next week. We're also going to do
Tim.
We're going to do a Saturday stream. You guys don't have to hang up too. Stick around after I end the stream for a second. We're going to do a Saturday stream with Drone Tech, Rational Wrong Think, and Robert Knorr. We're doing our, Saturday night spirits stream. And so that's going to be fun. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for supporting. I appreciate all the love and support. And until next time, we will see you guys later. You guys have a great night. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Catch you later, y'all.
Without fear of animals and or fear of animus. I think that's how we said it. And we're going to stop recording.